627 check. Check 1, check 9, check 3.5. Check 6. Check 9. Hey, there we go. Boom. It's working. You ready? Here we go. I lied. Hang on. That was a little too strong. Now I'm talking.
Prungande.
Hey, Tony Quantano. All right, here we go. Now we're actually gonna go.
Okay, kids, let's go.
You can hear that, right?
Uh-huh.
Yes, the most glorious sound ever
We
put
did
to
it!
tape.
Yeah.
It's all happening.
Hello, what have
Record the
we here?
podcast, of course. We've never done it before.
It's been a while.
Holy
Been a
shit.
while.
It ain't C3 penis face and R2 dickhead.
Hello there.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
May the force be with us. Fucking A.
Good day, Galaxy Rogue Squadron Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I am Opar.
I'm Commander Cody.
We are back in the studio. We're not. He is.
We're 50% back in the studio. Do you notice anything different
Back.
about the background?
You got a chair.
Well, I meant we don't have Anakin's crying face as the backdrop of the podcast this week.
Oh, I thought you meant specifically. I see a chair now.
There is a chair there. Yeah, I didn't do much. It looks mostly the same. You can even still see. I can't point properly. The white patch. I still gotta paint. I gotta do a few things.
You're an amateur pointer. I can't.
Well,
point
it's
properly.
one thing is the
I
backwards.
only took an introductory class. I haven't upgraded it yet.
Pointing 101 is as far as I got. Come on, please be nice.
Use this finger. That's about as far as I got. I don't know.
I will
I don't know what
say
to do with it yet.
it does feel good to be back. The Idea Foundry is open once again, at least to members. So I cleaned out the office / studio, and I've been here, and it's nice. So yeah, the toys. I feel the energy
welcome.
from the toys.
Welcome you, Danguses and furry fucks in the chat. We got Brennan here and just a little podcast checking in with us.
Thanks, Drangles.
Brennan was asking if it's nice to see your pops again. The
Yeah,
Bumbleheads.
yeah. I take energy from the action figures that I bought. So and the pops and everything else. So it's good. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah!
I'm not recording at my dresser in my bedroom anymore. So
At my dresser.
so is there an official word from the governor of Ohio when podcasters can come back together? When are you coming back to the studio?
2034. 2034.
18 ABY is when we can record together again. Just waiting for that.
Yeah, it's slowly lifting here in Ohio, but who the fuck knows? So, supposedly within the next week, we're supposed to get restaurants and bars and everything back open. But
Yeah.
who the fuck knows?
Yeah, a round of things on this Friday, and then a round of things the following Friday. They're doing it in stages. Yeah.
Truth be told,
Ah.
all the world's a stooge. Have you seen that one? Three Stooges. Do you know them?
Why are you doing this? Why is this happening?
I need, and I think everybody needs, more Three Stooges in their life. It is unfortunate that I don't think any of the Three Stooges episodes altogether are on any of the streaming platforms.
Ooh, yeah, good point.
It's a big part of my life. Really, truly. I used to watch that stuff like every Sunday morning. Instead of going to church, I would ruin my brain with people smacking each other. So me and my dad, that's what we would do like early on. And we would just sit there and giggle at these guys smacking each other around. But yeah, it's not really available. And even like bootleg, you can find a little bit here and there on like YouTube, small clips and stuff. But yeah, if you want to like power through episodes of Three Stooges, I don't know where to go. So
I feel like that's one of those shows / movies that you could get in like the $1 DVD bin at Walmart. And just find some random DVD set that has like 100 episodes.
Yeah, maybe. If there's 100 episodes, I would legit buy it. But I think it's because the filmography of it is all still owned by the family. So, and I don't think they've done much with it. So I think it's limited on its release stuff. But going forward, we do have a lot of Mando news that was released this past week.
Yeah, a surprising amount. To the point where I was like, is this a bunch of just rumor nonsense? And then I was like, I can't imagine that they would give us that much. So we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll discuss it.
We'll get there.
But while we ramble through the first hour of useless nonsense, kind of put your thoughts and ideas together if you guys are here with us live.
First 5 or 6 hours before
what
we get
you
to
think,
the Mando.
Yeah, let us know tomorrow. But yeah, so most recently, what have I done? I watched episode 4.
Nice.
And part of episode 5, and I didn't fall asleep for either of them. So
That's an accomplishment, I guess you would say.
To watch them in the background, like on a Saturday or Sunday, there's probably a 70% chance that I might fall asleep. I mean, I've seen those movies so much.
Well, if it's in the background,
on,
how do you fall? Are you just putting it on the background of your nap and then you're falling asleep to it on purpose?
Almost, yeah, because I've seen those movies so much. It's like there's certain movies I put on. You know, it's a weird one is Nap Time 100%, Scarface. Scarface is a great nap movie because it's entertaining and really fast up front, and then it kind of you get halfway through the movie and there's like the
it's the most ridiculous
dance
thing I've
sequence
ever heard.
where they're dancing the money into the bank, and that's where I fall asleep.
Dancing the
and
money.
And then I
into
wake
the bank.
up to him, the money dance. Yeah. So, but there's those certain movies I just I put them on just to fall
That's a
asleep
ridiculous
to.
one though. I'm feeling pretty tired, but I just can't quite fall asleep. Oh, here I got something for you. Fuck. Baltimore. Fuck. All right, cool.
Baltimore.
No, I'm just dozing right off now. This is exactly what I needed. That's a random.
It's funny, yeah.
That's a random one. Yeah,
It really is.
If I'm trying to fall asleep, I'll usually just put on a show that I've seen a million times or a comedy that I've seen a million times. So it's usually like The Office or Portlandia or Wayne's World or something like that. Sometimes Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I don't like
You know what's weird
purposely like do a Star Wars nap session. Star Wars is usually on if I'm like cleaning the house or something like that.
Yeah, I use specifically the original trilogy. I use that to fall asleep too.
Those snooze
it's just,
fests.
I don't mean anything by it. It's just a little slower, and you don't really have to pay attention to really grasp what's going on. So
The characters don't matter. Plot doesn't matter. You have to watch the
They
story. It doesn't matter. Special effects aren't there. There's no music.
blah blah blah. Trash compactor, walking carpet, blah blah blah.
Space frog.
Father,
Who cares?
yeah,
There's not much there.
Space
Come on.
frog. Laser sword.
Space
done.
frog.
So I mean, that's about it.
I know exactly what you mean.
But yeah, let us know. That's going to be something we're going to do going forward. Is reach out to us and let us know what you fall asleep to.
Yeah, what are your nap
you
movies?
can DM us or whatever. Ryan over here actually says I always doze off during Empire.
You couldn't
right in the
pronounce
middle.
his last name, could you? You gave up.
Well, I was reading his comment before I got to his last. I just saw Ryan and a W, and I was like, I'll just keep moving. Ryan, okay. Anyways,
Ching King over here is during Empire. He says he always dozes off. Yeah.
no, I think out of the three, Empire's the one that I would fall asleep to. The middle section, the space worm and all that, and well, it's an entertaining movie. It is very easy to fall asleep to. So
I see that.
But yeah, so reach out to us. Let us know what you guys fall asleep to, and if there's some really weird ones, maybe we'll bring it up next episode. So just yell at us, DM us, email us, whatever the fuck. So
Yeah, we haven't gotten a drunken ranting email in a while, so come on, step up.
yes, seriously,
It was a good trend for a while.
Oh, he has two last names, Wall, Verd. So you could choose either one. Ryan Bird. No, I know Ryan. He was
Hey,
at
Ryan.
the Chicago thing that we
Hey,
did.
Ryan. Hey
I
Ryan.
remember him.
I remember. Hey Ryan.
Ooh, I do have some exciting news. For you anime fans, Mopar started watching that shit a little bit. I'm
Ooh.
dipping my toes in.
Ooh.
And J-Rod would be very happy. I watched one episode of Cowboy Bebop, and it didn't catch me right away, so I kind of moved on. But One Punch Man is fucking hilarious.
I've heard. Yeah.
I recommend it to everybody. It's so outrageously. It's like a anime serious comedy, but in a SpongeBob like comedic way.
Are they
It's
making a
just
movie
so
about
outrageous.
that? Are they working on a movie for One Punch Man?
I hope so.
I feel like I heard that.
It's really truly. We're probably 3 episodes in, and it's just so funny. It's
Nice.
so funny, man.
Good shit.
I mean, to give you an idea, like the very first episode, there's a monster crab dude, and he's got man legs, and he's in tidy whities, and he's running around just like chomping shit in half. But like the idea of just a crab dude with just man legs and tidy whities, and there's just weird conversations that go on, and it's just funny. It's really funny.
Cool.
So if you guys are trying to dip your toes into something like that, that gets the Mopar check mark there. So
I think Jammy's the one you probably want to talk to if you're looking for anime rickos.
yeah, I wanted something very easy to swallow, because if I have to read everything that's going on, let me have something simple in front of me, so I can kind of absorb it, instead of Cowboy Bebop right off the bat. It felt like too much for me. So I'm just trying to warm up.
So I'm a total anime noob. So it really is in Japanese with subtitles. They don't overdub it like they did with like Pokemon or whatever. Is
No,
Pokemon a true anime? Am
yeah.
I like a heathen for saying that?
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the base. I was kind of thinking about this before we started recording. Like the base genre would be for everybody would be like the Pokemons or the Dragon Ball Z's, all the stuff that actually has been dubbed over. But One Punch Man is not dubbed over. At least the ones that I'm watching on Hulu. I think it's on Hulu.
Oh yeah, you got Hulu now.
Hulu
yeah?
or Netflix.
Nice.
Hulu or Netflix. Yeah, we're bumming Hulu off my sister. So.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Nice. Yeah, Hulu's got
It's
some
on
good
one
shit.
of those. And yeah, Hulu's got a lot. We've been watching that a lot more than Netflix right now. So a lot of the series, the TV series are really good.
I was trying to figure out like what I should get rid of. I was looking at my roster of like subscriptions that I pay for. I was doing the budget or whatever. I was like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, YouTube. I'm like, I feel like I could trim one of these and be happy.
YouTube.
No, I like YouTube Premium. Fuck those ads, man.
Oh, really?
Fuck watching ads. No, I hate it.
Yeah, but it doesn't like provide you anything outside of just no ads, right?
And if you're mobile, you can keep listening to whatever you're watching when you like close the app or close the phone, as if like you're listening to a podcast or something. Because like, if you're watching a video, if you don't have YouTube Premium, you quit the app, or not quit the app, but you turn your phone off, put it in your pocket, it stops. Premium, you can keep watching. Silly thing.
Wow.
But
Yeah, I would definitely get rid of that.
well, it's not. That's
can't
just
believe you
the
pay
that's the fringe benefit. The real benefit is no ads because I hate watching ads.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I would never pay for that. I get the no ads, but the fact that you don't get anything out of it as far as like unique content, which I feel like Netflix has fallen off harshly. They used to have some really good stuff that was Netflix only, and it's fallen off pretty hard. And like I said, it's 90% now that we just watch either Disney.
There's
or,
just so much
Hulu.
to watch, man. We finished Schitt's Creek, and I was kind of in and out of it. I probably watched half the episodes because Nina would watch, and I would be like, I want to play some Overwatch instead, blah, blah, blah. I would hear it in the background. I was just sitting there after we were finished with that, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch a series. I don't know if I want to sit down and try to trudge through 6 seasons of 20 episodes each at 30 minutes an episode. I just like, it's so much content. Like, I'll watch The Mando. It's 8 episodes. It's quick. Things like some of the HBO series, like somebody reminded me I need to watch Watchmen. I haven't seen that yet on HBO. That's another quick one. It's like 10 episodes. But to get into something and binge and have like 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons, it's like too much, man. So I think it's just all watered down now. There's just too many shows out there.
Yeah, I'm still gonna sing the praises of Hulu because they do have HBO series on there.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch Sopranos and stuff like that, that's on there. And they also have FX series, so Always Sunny, Sons of Anarchy, and that sort of thing. They have just a really good blend of just top tier shows. So, but yeah, it is what it is. Long story short, watch One Punch Man. I highly recommend it.
I might try it. Yeah.
You know, the one fun thing is like the animation of it is all over the place. Like when there's battles going on, it gets really like anime sharp, fucking epic, cool. And then it'll go into like his normal side stuff where he's basically just a bald dude and he walks around and he looks so dopey and so idiotic and he has the dumbest conversations and it's just like blank faced bald round face.
I think I've seen it,
It's
but I'm going to look up this mother effer right now.
But it's also fun, like when there is an epic battle scene going on, the like detail in the animation starts lacking, and they do it on purpose. So, if, like, let's say they're battling in the air and they're flying around, it'll literally just turn into scribbles and just color blasting on the. There's no detail at all. It's really fun.
Yeah,
the dude's face is
crazy.
just
He's just a bald dude.
He's just a bald, round-headed dude. But in certain scenes, like he gets like a sharp chin. All of a sudden, he gets real epic looking when he does like a fucking hero stance.
Yeah.
And then
See,
it just goes into scribbles and stuff.
If you hadn't said that, I would look at these pictures. I'm sorry you can't see this, Mopar, but I'd be like, oh, this just looks like the show. This like lower animation and then like really epic style fan art. But you saying it goes back and forth between those two within the show? That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like within the same scene, it's almost like they use the animation as another sense or feeling. If a guy feels dumb, he's gonna look dumb and very simple. Or if he wants to look badass, there's a lot more detail involved. It's just like a whole another aspect that they use on that. So
Can someone draw us an
highly
anime,
recommend it.
please? I just want to see what that looks like if we were just both anime.
yeah, make me with big ears. I want big ones. I want them from the tips to the toes. Oh my god.
Can we talk about Star Wars now? The tips
Brendan
to
says
the
he's not really
toes.
Brendan says he's not really an anime fan, but if we've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, I've never dabbled.
My little brother used to watch it when he was a baby, and I would catch some of the episodes, and I always thought it was cool, but I've never watched started from the beginning and watched the whole thing. I always thought it was a cool concept though, like just all those elements. You have the Airbender that can fuck with everything. I think that's the concept, right?
Is this just like Stormwatch or whatever the what's the American environment?
American
guy?
Gladiators.
No, what's
Captain Planet?
With our powers combined, Captain Planet. See?
Oh shit! I think I see Captain Planet.
Is it like an anime Captain Planet with air, water, heart?
Captain Planet was hokey, and it was about like recycling. Avatar, there's like 4 nations, and they each are specialized in like one of the main elements. Fire, Earth, Wind, and Water. I don't know.
Music.
I didn't. Fire Nation are a bunch of assholes. That's as much of the plot as I remember. And apparently the movie sucked. But yeah. Who knows?
So coming up, we're going to be discussing a lot of the Mando news, but there has been other stuff released. The making of the Mando, the documentary series, or what is it actually called?
It's called Disney Gallery.
Disney Gallery, and there's 2 episodes that have been released so far.
Yeah, it seems like those are coming out once a week, just like a normal show. So episode 1 was about the directors. So Favreau is basically leading a roundtable with the, directors, writers, concept artists, etc. around the show, just talking about, the creation of Mando to start. So the first one was about the directors. They each went around and, talked how they get into Star Wars, how they get into Lucasfilm, blah, blah, blah. And then the second one is called Legacy. And that one was just about, bringing the past and the weight of Star Wars as a franchise into the very first TV show, which I like the second one better, I think, at least so far. And then I know you were talking in the chat, and we'll probably dive into this right now, but Filoni was going hard on like the imagery of Phantom Menace and Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin's whole arc over the whole 6 movies. It's just really interesting. I like hearing him talk about the saga. The saga.
Favreau or Filoni?
Filoni. Did I say Favreau? I didn't mean to. Sorry, Filoni. Filoni.
Yeah, Filoni has great insight, and we'll just jump into it. The directors, like the behind the scenes of how they got into it. It's, if you're interested into that, it's like, okay, that's where this person came from, and it's weird because I knew there was that many directors, but seeing them all in one table and knowing that there's only 8 episodes, you're like, well, Jesus,
yeah,
fucking team, why do you need all this? But at least it's it's cool. I think
that's usually how they do it for
Breaking
shows.
Bad.
Though.
What's that?
That's usually how they do it for shows. You have a showrunner, producer who's like kind of creating the vision for the series or the season. And then every episode is directed by a different director, usually. Or the cycle.
Yeah,
They'll shuffle through them.
Maybe I wasn't really aware of that. The first time I became aware of something like that was Breaking Bad, where it was openly known that every episode was a little different. And the main director, I forget his name, it's slipping. He would go in and out, every 4th episode he would direct or something like that. But to my own knowledge, that's the first one that I was like, oh, I didn't realize they did something like that. I thought it was the same guy doing this over and over and over. But the round table was interesting. The first episode was okay, I didn't waste my time, but it's whatever. The second episode, I thought they dug into specifics of their ideas or their vision of what was happening in Star Wars, even their own Filoni's vision on what Lucas did, especially in the original trilogy. But he was also, they were bringing up the prequels a lot, and they kind of dove into that a little bit, which was kind of nice.
That's something that you don't get to see a lot of. I feel like there's so many times where someone's reminiscing about Star Wars, or there's a documentary about Star Wars, and all the clips are original trilogy stuff. And I'm just like, where's the prequels and all this mess? And they even went so far as to bring up and remind everybody that Phantom Menace has the most practical effects and models out of all of the entire saga still to this day. That's how much shit is packed into episode 1.
Yeah, it was actually surprising. I saw some stuff from the making of episode 1 that I had never seen, the pod race stands.
Yeah, how
they actually built some stands like that, and I was like, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny.
So many models.
But they were piggybacking that onto the flying machine that the Mando, the Razor's Crest machine, the cockpit of it that they were filming through.
Yeah.
And it was showing how they were filming, and that was super interesting to me because they make a lot out of a little.
Yeah.
And it's Jesus, if you pull the camera back 10 feet, it looks like dog shit, but you create this whole feeling of he's flying a ship and he's concerned and he's getting shot at and all this stuff just by, the directing. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's cool how they're
Yeah,
shooting it. I remember we were watching that special effects video on YouTube a couple months ago about how they have that like rotating giant circular LED screen that's showing like the background set. So instead of like a backdrop painting or just a green screen, they can see on the screen behind what they're filming what's actually supposed to be there. So when the cockpit's there, it's just the starfield, it's just space. But when they're on a planet or like Tatooine or something, you have like the desert in the background. So I think that changes things. So seeing the set and seeing behind the scenes there, I think is cool. I'm a huge fan of those documentaries. I haven't gotten around to watching.
What was it called again? Sorry.
The series,
What was the documentary called?
Disney Gallery.
Yeah. Gallery. Thank you.
I haven't watched the one that comes with the episode 9 movie yet, but I want to now that I'm kind of like in documentary zone. But I love that shit.
I think I watched most of the. Oh, you know what? I spoke about. I misspoke. The 8th one. I watched the Ryan Johnson one for episode 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that one was okay. I mean, they didn't get. It was almost more of like a promotion thing. It felt they didn't really dig into filmmaking, visions and all that. It was just like Ryan talking about the sets. Like this is.
I like that one because they spent so much time talking about him and Mark Hamill and Luke's arc in 8, and he didn't like it at first, and he was talking him through it, and like they were disagreeing, but he saw the vision by the end of it. They spent a lot of time on that in the episode 8 documentary, so I thought that was cool. They also spent about 37 minutes talking about the tit walrus and transporting that and flying a helicopter to that island in Ireland just to get that stupid thing on the set. That took up a lot of time too.
Set me off. Like, why are we flying tits across the bay over here?
You got to get the shot, man.
How much does it cost? $1 million per tit. Let's bring them.
Per tit.
Four of them,
$4
please.
million. Fucking unlimited budget. Let's go.
Unlimited tits.
But you got to get the shot, man. It's important. You can't chintz.
Yeah, I mean,
Can't
that's
chintz
the
on Star
wonderful
Wars.
thing about Star Wars is, if you can dream it up, they'll fucking put it on scene or on screen. They don't really give a shit.
I would love to
And
just
it's
be
in a goofy extreme way,
Yeah.
like walrus tits. They don't care. They're
Yeah.
putting it in the movie because we can. I don't give a shit.
So I wonder what the line is, what Lucasfilm's line is on creative differences. Because like that was the drama about the solo directors and everything. It's like creative differences, blah, blah, blah. We don't see eye to eye. It's like, who's seen eye to eye with that decision?
Well, whose decision was it that they left? Were they forced to leave, or were they like, you know what? If we can't do what we want, like we're out. Or
That's a good
was it
question.
like,
I don't
dude,
know if it was like you're fired or if it's like they want to do this and Kathy's not feeling it and then they just kind of like part ways and they go somewhere else. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Now I'm just remembering about the first episode. The one thing I did like that they were discussing was like the director's like light bulb that went off when they were young kids and or teenagers. What movie was it that like made them think I want to direct, I want to film make, I want to direct, I want to do all this? And
Yeah.
I almost felt like 50% of them was Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard that a lot.
I think at least 2 of them, 2 of the 6 said Jurassic Park, and I want to say 3 of them. That's so crazy because they were discussing how, they were going through different movies in the decades, and they were talking about like T2 was one of like the pinnacle things that, the CGI got so crazy, but it was still like a cyborg metallic thing where
Right.
Jurassic Park was a living animal thing that they were able to pull off, which is a completely different, the shading and all the colors.
Oh,
and
yeah, it's huge.
whether it's wet or dry, or there's so many aspects to like a living being.
Yeah.
That I think that's why a couple of the directors were like, yeah, Jurassic Park was the one that really kicked it off.
I mentioned that a while ago. I think it was on YouTube where I watched a documentary of just Industrial Light and Magic. It was just some ILM behind the scenes or something. I'm pretty sure it was on YouTube. It wasn't Star Wars specific. It was just about ILM. And they said there was like 3 huge points in time. Obviously, they created it for A New Hope. So that's when ILM was birthed. The next big turning point was Jurassic Park when they were able to get those dinosaurs like that. And then the third huge turning point was when they got the Iron Man suit for Iron Man in 2008. Like those are the big three like pinnacles for ILM and how things have changed. So yeah, I mean Jurassic Park is obviously groundbreaking. So not surprised at all that they were all going crazy for that.
It's crazy that came out. Well, I guess okay.
It's like 94,
I feel like
right?
Jurassic Park, yeah, or 93 or 94. Jurassic Park pushed the boundary of like a CGI living being, and then we get to like episode 1 where every being on the battlefield is CGI, and it's just pushed to an extent that we're having an entire war on screen that only like 4 people are actually involved as far as actors. The rest of it, you from the tanks to the Gungans to the energy balls that they're throwing, the Boombas and the animals flying around, it's like 100% except for Jar Jar, and you know that's it. Jar Jar was the only one in that entire scene.
Yeah, it depends. No, I mean I think that's a huge thing. Is in order to get the effects that we have in the sequel trilogy and in the Mando, we needed all that groundwork in the prequels. And like I was really happy of Filoni going in on the Duel of the Fates battle and Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin's arc and using that as a way to lift up Phantom Menace as, you know, something very, very good and positive in the Star Wars saga. Because obviously we all know as Star Wars fans, like the prequels is what everybody shit on for so long. So it's good to see that in a different light, and also just to understand that, you know, what the work that Lucas did with the crew and with ILM and everything in the prequels, like set the stage for the Marvel universe and what we have with Star Wars now with like the Mando and the sequel trilogy. It's huge.
I mean, you talking about Filoni discussing the prequels. Jesus, I don't know if it was just ignorance or if maybe I was just too young that I took it in and it's just sat in my memory. But like the Duel of the Fates, I never really took it for what it was, what it spelled out to be. Where at the end it was Qui-Gon Jinn, who was gonna end up being like a makeshift father for Anakin, who didn't see eye to eye with the rest of the council. That probably would have been a perfect teacher for Anakin. And the Duel of the Fates was, is he gonna teach him, or is he, you know, fighting, is he gonna kill goddamn Maul, or is Maul gonna kill him? And if he kills him, that throws Obi-Wan into a weird situation, whether he lives or dies.
Right.
But no one, he won't have that father figure. I feel like that was the difference. Obi-Wan became a brother of Anakin. Qui-Gon would have been the father figure that Anakin needed. And that was the two fates. And because Qui-Gon was killed, it completely altered the trajectory of Anakin's story in a very bad way. And him discussing it, I just highly recommend you guys go and watch both episodes that have come out. But no, I mean, the more and more I'm thinking about the first episode, it did have a lot of key points that was really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
And Brennan's making a good point here that Palpatine was the true father of Anakin. I wouldn't agree to that, but it's a good point that maybe in like Anakin's mentality, he was looking for that mentor that was more than a brother in Obi-Wan.
Right.
I don't know how many O's are in Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan. But no, it's a fair point.
Well, that's exactly what happens. I mean, why the Jedi are stuck in a certain point of view, and Anakin needs something. And if you guys are going to pull this kid off of Tatooine and say he's the chosen one and this and that and prophecy over here and like the fates over here, but then they kind of leave him in the lurch. They just stick to their Jedi ways, and like Anakin doesn't get the attention and everything that he needs. So when that's fallen by the wayside, then he does turn to Palpatine, who's always been a mentor, and then starts to become obviously more and more attached to him as the prequels go on.
Yeah, it's, you know, not only for Anakin's trajectory for the Duel of the Fates, but the Jedi as a whole.
Yeah.
You know, if Qui-Gon was able to live and like kill Maul in episode 1, he probably would have raised Anakin, the chosen one, in a more not correct way, but less strict way
Correct.
that may have worked more or worked well with Anakin. But also, with Anakin being the chosen one and learning from Qui-Gon, it would have like pushed the Jedi into maybe a less strict, like it works. Like you don't have to be a fucking psychopath asshole. Look at I got two badass learners over here, Obi-Wan and Anakin. Look how badass they are.
Look at my learners.
I'm a flyer. I'm a learner.
Yeah, but Qui-Gon could have been like that one master in the organization. I don't know why they're a fucking corporate organization right now. The Jedi LLC. To pull them back from like their dogmatic ways. I feel like Qui-Gon was like the only one at that point that was seeing what was happening. And I think they mentioned that too when they were talking about the Phantom Menace in the documentary, is like Qui-Gon Jinn is the only one who isn't falling into the ways that the rest of the Jedi are doing that are going to lead to their downfall. He's the only one that can see the bigger picture. He's talking about the living Force. He's talking about like the Force is telling me that this is the right thing to do. Fuck the politics. Fuck, the council and all this stuff. We have to do it because that's what the Force says. And everyone else loses sight of that.
Yeah, I mean, he bridges that gap.
Yeah, exactly.
He bridges the gap of not being a psychopath Jedi and also not falling to the dark side. But we do get a little bit of that with Ahsoka, with her turning her back to the Jedi, but she doesn't fall to the dark side. She's still a good person.
Ahsoka is like reincarnated Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon, she kind of is, and she also bridges that gap where she'll fight Maul, but she's not going to murder him in cold blood because then you're just as bad as Maul, or you're not just going to judge people because you're a master of something.
Yeah.
So, but to wrap it all back into what Filoni was discussing, he kind of starts Duel of the Fates, and then he ends up at the end of episode
Jedi.
6, and he discusses how the
Squeeze me.
The turning point for Vader was something that maybe the Emperor knew about, but he could never truly understand. And what he was discussing was like the love between a son and a father, and that relationship is something that Palpy has, first of all, never had and never really understood, and never really understood the power that's behind that. And it was kind of eye-opening to me. It's kind of simple, but he like squared it away. He was like, look, Palpy has no idea what's going through Vader's head. Even if he thought this might happen and he felt Vader slipping, he probably conceptually never thought it was going to happen, because love can't, that's not going to fix anything.
Yeah.
So Vader's mine. He's good.
Well, that's the great thing about this and Marvel and Harry Potter and what have you, is that like the foundation of it is so simple. It's like, Palpatine is evil. He has power, but he doesn't have all of these basic human things that all of our good guy characters have. He doesn't love anything. All he wants to do is just absorb power. And at the end of the day, that's not going to get you across the finish line. And it's the same thing with Voldemort and Harry. Like, how does Harry win? Because he has the magic of his mother's love is more important than whatever Voldemort can amass and all of his followers and everything else.
Yeah. No, and I was actually earlier thinking about like,
bunch of
if I
fucking
had
hippies.
to put a description or emotions to the Emperor, it would be so negative and so detached from actual humans.
He's a sociopath.
Like there's no compassion or forgiveness or love or I mean, there's simple traits.
Yeah.
He's simply just anger. he's like he literally is just, he's an angry person.
Sometimes it's not even anger, which is interesting. Like he's detached in a way. He's like using anger when he needs to because he knows that it fuels the dark side. But like he's not trying to get back at everyone. He's just trying to amass power. Like he doesn't have a grudge. Well, maybe he does with the Jedi a little bit. But it's not like he was trying to be a Padawan and the Jedi turned him down and now he's like, oh man, they fucked me over. I'm going to dedicate my whole life to bringing down the Jedi Order. Like he doesn't have that. He's just manipulative and he's a sociopath.
Yeah. You know what's kind of weird is even though technically Palpatine is just a human and he's just dusty and cracked, that the cyborg more machine now than man, that little bit that's left that's still human of Anakin Skywalker, is enough to link him to like human traits.
Yeah,
And I feel
Anakin
like-
still has enough emotion in his elbow. He's still human.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Is like to the core, Anakin was a good person, and he wanted to be. Oh, the other thing that Filoni said that Anakin in Episode 6 finally became the father that he never had,
Mhm.
and I was like, "Ah!" like my mind just exploded. I was like, I knew it all along. I just never heard someone say it out loud. that,
Exactly.
You know, the redemption of Vader was just Anakin becoming the father that he never had, and I'm like,
Well, it's easy to
oh
get
my
distracted
fuck.
by things, especially as Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Like, we're all super nerdy. Like, a big thing I love about Star Wars is the world building. So I see something and I'm like, oh, what kind of fighter is that? And like, what's the fucking statistics on this starship? But you forget about like the core of things sometimes because you're distracted by all that.
Yeah. And
So he brings it back to basics, which is good.
no, he does a great job. He does a great job of that. You know, and I this is gonna kind of be a tangent, but moving forward with after Luke was saved from his father, you know, I still don't get, not to dig up old shit, I still don't get everybody's issue with Episode 8 Luke. You know, it's not like he didn't have a history of running from his own fears. Like, he was constantly running away. Like, he didn't want to train or finish his training on Dagobah, so he ran to his friends and fucked that all up.
Oh yeah,
And then
he's got shiny
and
object
then even
syndrome all the time.
yeah, and there's just like he's constantly running away from things.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in Episode 4, that's the first time that he's like, we gotta go save the princess and then blow up the Death Ball, and he fucking does everything. And then I feel like Episode 5 and 6, they take Luke's enthusiasm and take it a step back, and he starts questioning himself. I think with like meeting Yoda, like he's expecting this badass soldier, crazy smart dude, and he ends up talking to a frog
Yeah.
who still is all of those things.
Yeah.
So it's I think it kind of twists Luke's mindset when he finally meets Yoda and starts discussing it with him. And the whole I don't believe it, that's why you fail. I loved that the new guy, I'm sorry, that the new guy that's going to be doing the new film in 2 years. What's his name?
Taika Waititi.
Tycho. I loved. Wasn't it him that brought it up?
Oh, but yeah, he was
I'm sorry
talking,
about the-
reminiscing, and he was like, "Yeah, like my favorite line." It was like, "I don't believe
That
it.
is why you
That is
fail."
why I fail." Yeah.
And that I've always agreed. That's always hit me so hard that,
Yeah.
well, of course you failed. You don't even believe it.
Right.
Like, why are you gonna luck into something? You
limiting
gotta believe
beliefs.
in it first, and then you're gonna fucking do it.
Yeah, exactly. Luke's just got limiting
So-
beliefs. It's like, I'm just a farmer. There's
So-
no moisture here. I don't know what to do with this. I can't fucking do that. Well,
You know, the other thing was in Episode 6 when Luke confronts Leia and says, you know, he's my father, and she goes, Luke, run away, far away. And then, like,
if
in
he
Episode
gets
7, Luke
sincere, then
Skywalker's
leave
vanished.
this place. Yep.
Leave this place.
He took
And then
that
the
shit
next
literally.
episode,
Yeah.
he's gone, man. He disappeared.
I mean, it's
it's like a funny meme, but it also is so true
It's
to
like-
Luke's. I don't know.
everyone acts like it's so out of left field, and it's like, why did this happen? How did he write that? It's like it's in the fucking movie. It's there. All the clues are there, and nothing that's out of the ordinary. It's all obvious
Yeah.
stuff. It's very
You know,
simple. People, love things from childhood. Nostalgia factor is huge. They say, I believe that Luke should do this, this, and this, and then when that exact thing doesn't happen, everyone's pissed.
Yeah. Some of the guys in our Patreon chat was also mentioning that even in like the legend stuff where he was OP God Luke, he was still running away from stuff.
Yeah.
So it's I just whatever. Put that aside.
I mean,
Watch the behind the scenes shit.
And
It's
for the
fun.
record, I'm a huge fan of Luke in 8. I love it. I haven't rewatched Last Jedi in a minute. Maybe that'll be on my list soon. Once I finish Mando.
What's the guy's name? I'm sorry again.
Achuta Mando. What guy?
What's his the director's name
Which one?
that we just the Tekai?
Taika Waititi.
How do you spell that?
Taika space Waititi.
What a hell of a name.
Many eyes and
He's a
T's.
unique looking dude too.
He's a savage.
Let's-
He's a New Zealand savage. Little bit of a tangent, but I rewatched Endgame for the first time since theaters a couple nights
Why would
ago.
you do that?
Because it's awesome. It's really good. Holds up. Absolutely badass. Love it. Good shit.
Is that only the second time you saw it?
Yeah, I hadn't seen it since the premiere in theaters. So it had been a while. It's just, I kept saying, like, I want to watch this. I want to sit down and watch this. And it's 3 hours and 3 minutes. And I'm like, you know, it took a minute. So I wanted to watch it in one sitting. So it took a minute, but it's good. Very good. And he's Korg. So that was the tangent.
What I was getting at is, first of all, I just made a connection that Takai was, or Taika. Is that how you? I'm sorry.
Taika. Yeah, Taika.
Was the he played Hitler in Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
I
Well,
just
and
made that
director.
connection.
That's his movie.
Yeah, and he wrote it, I think.
Mhm.
But there was Christy Wilson Cairns. She is the co-writer for the new film. Oh, she wrote fucking 1917. This film's gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Between Taika and her, this is gonna be fucking perfect. Yeah, I'm super hyped now. Did you ever end up seeing? Oh, you saw 1917, right? We
Oh,
discussed
hell
that.
yeah. Yeah. I happened to be in New York when when it came out, and I saw it in one of those Dolby Atmos Savage theaters. It was really good.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, with the vibrating chairs and the surround sound and everything. It's good.
Oh, I've never had the vibrating chairs.
Well, not like a massage chair. I'm just saying, like, there's more to the sound effects than just the speakers. Like, the floor was actually like rumbling and shit. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I knew what names were on there. I just had not yet done my due diligence and researched the people behind.
It hadn't sunk
new
in
film.
yet.
So
eh?
yeah, and isn't Takai also, or Taika also a part of the newer Jurassic Parks? Was it? I thought there was something else that he was tied to.
I don't think so. He
That's all right.
directed
I think I'm making
Thor
that up.
Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok, and then he's got the next Thor film.
He's the blue
on the docket.
Yeah, he's the blue rock dude, Korg. But no, I'm and he's IG-11, and I've been a fan of him since Thor Ragnarok was the first time I heard of him. But yeah,
Nice.
that's all I have to say.
That's all we got to say about that.
Oh wait, whoa! I just found something else. Hold please. They're making a sequel to Suicide Squad.
Wait, which one?
What do you mean?
Oh, I guess Birds of Prey isn't like a sequel.
No, not necessarily. So there's something slated for 2021 called The Suicide Squad. His name was attached to it. That's why I saw it on Google. It's on the stream here. It's a sequel, directed by James Gunn, who did the Guardians of the Galaxy film. So that should actually make it good. Why is his name on here, though? Upcoming
Probably
movies.
gonna be in
It's
it.
listed under there. Maybe he's like producing or writing or something.
He could be an actor.
Yeah, possibly. Idris Elba is cast. John Cena?
He acts.
Pete
Oh,
Davidson.
I'm definitely watching that.
What the fuck is this? How have I not heard of this before?
Just add The Rock. And I'll watch it.
Yeah,
Add it.
Matthew McConaughey's in here too. Everybody, that's ridiculous. Cool. Well, you learn something new every day. Mr. Fletcher
yeah.
can't read.
All right. Let's get into Mando news. Season 2.
Fuck.
It seems like they're.
They're just giving everything
I
away.
just-
Here's everything.
You-
Here's the plot. Here's the script for every episode. Here we go.
It's kind of ballsy because they've been really, really good with their press releases and releasing stuff. I mean, especially with the Skywalker series, they held out on a lot of stuff, did great little teases, and just, kind of banana sticked it in front of us, whatever the fuck that means. But Have you ever been banana stick?
Carrot on a stick, I think, is what you're looking for.
I don't like carrots on sticks.
I'm curious what
But
the
they,
strategy
their
is.
press releases of everything has been so spot on and so specific and so detailed, and we're releasing this detail then and all, and now it feels like a floodgate of fuck it, all the characters are in it. Like who cares? And it's
Everyone's
like,
in
whoa,
it. Vader's
whoa.
back. Luke's in it. Everyone's in it. Kylo's in it. Everyone's in it.
You know, the one thing I gotta say. So, I mean, go ahead and what's the actual releases of like the actors and the characters?
Well, there's a bunch, and I probably missed one or two, so please chime in, listeners. But the first one that I saw was the announcement that Tamara Morrison is back to play Boba Fett. Tamara Morrison obviously is Jango Fett from Episode 2 and the face and actor for all the clones. And shortly after that, there was a rumor that he was also going to be back as Captain Rex, because we know that Rosario Dawson is cast for Ahsoka. So if Tamara Morrison's back, there's a clone, they're like, we better capitalize on this. We want Rex and Ahsoka together, live action, on the Mando Season 2. That's the first one that I saw.
I can't believe they would bring Rex into it.
Well, you got to remember, Filoni
That
is
doesn't make any sense.
heavily involved, and all of his stuff is playing together. So the stuff that happened in Rebels, we see is a little bit teased at the end of the Clone Wars, the new season.
Mm-hmm.
If that's happening, he's involved in the Mando. If Ahsoka's back, and he also has a big hand in all of the new Mandalorian lore and the Mandalorian storylines. So if all that's going to be tied together, he's going to be involved. So it makes sense that Rex and Ahsoka would be back.
I still don't. That doesn't even make any sense.
What do you mean?
Why would Rex be? It's called the Mandalorian. Like having Boba Fett be a part of the Mandalorian and the Mandalorians is 100% spot on, especially with the other girl that's the Death Watch chick that they've also
I'm just
released
saying
is
that if
also
Ahsoka
part
is
of the
there,
Mandalorians.
if Ahsoka's there, then it would make sense that Rex is also there. That's all I mean.
Yeah, I just imagine Rex is dead because he'd be, well, even in the chats here, Brennan said Rex would be like 80 in clone years.
True.
So,
Yeah. No, true. I mean,
I don't.
and that might not be confirmed. I don't know. I think that's
Yeah, I think they're going hardcore Mandalorian culture because I think they're going to be doing some Death Watch characters and Boba Fett and now the Mando, and Ahsoka's kind of hard tied into that stuff with everything she did with Maul and the Death Watch people, and to save Mandalore.
Well, then so is Rex then, because he's cloned from a Mandalorian.
I don't know, man. I'm just asking. It's the same thing. I hope he's not on screen. He'd be 112 running around.
Maybe. I mean,
but,
there's no limit to what they could throw in there.
Imagine.
Because in the Republic Commando books, Boba Fett came into the picture because he was looking for the Kaminoans because he wanted to figure out a way to reverse the de-aging process. So they could throw anything at the fucking wall. There could be a whole like hive of clones that after Order 66 deserted the Empire and are just living and hanging out and trying to not die early because they have cloned DNA.
Try not to die early.
Maybe they're embracing the Mando culture. You don't know. I mean, they could really throw anything in there. So that was interesting.
Today, I'm trying to live past episode 6. I'm just trying. I don't want to die
You
early.
need to get past 6 ABY. Jesus. I think I've never been like a massive Boba Fett fan, but I have always been a massive Clone and Tamara Morrison fan. So the fact that he's going to be back on screen is awesome. And the potential to see like old Boba Fett without his mask or like old Captain Rex, I think is going to be really cool.
You know, I mean, they kind of set it up perfectly with the reveal of the Darksaber at the end of the last episode and how that's tied into the Mandalorian culture, you know, historically. Obviously, the Mando himself, bringing in Ahsoka, who's dealt with the Mandos and fought Maul as... were they calling Maul the Mandalore? What's the title?
Good question. I don't think so.
Because that's what, like, Canderous becomes... in KOTOR, after he helps Revan out, he becomes Mandalore, and it's like a title.
Right, but
And
I don't
that's
know if
who
they
I
were
thought,
saying that in the Clone Wars. That's a good question. I think they were just like,
I mean,
obviously this guy is going to kill us all, so just let him rule for a couple weeks. Like, we can't do anything against him, so just let him be in control for a couple months, like whatever.
Yeah. Man, if you would have told me 20 years ago that the guy from episode 1 that got cut in half at the end
Got cut in half pretty bad.
is gonna be in basically every cartoon going forward. He's gonna be the Easter egg in a Solo movie. He's also gonna run the Mandalorians. He's also gonna get some crab legs and has a brother. You're like, wait a second. I thought he was cut in half. Pretty bad.
Pretty bad. It was a particularly bad case of someone being cut in half. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. So, and then along with Boba / Rex / Tamara Morrison, there was one other one that I forgot. Sabine is supposed to be coming and cast in live action as well. Sabine Wren.
Yeah. So Sabine, and it was the Mando chick that at the last season of Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I forget her
Bo-Katan.
name.
Bo-Katan.
Yeah, Bo-Katan and Sabine.
Bo-Katan.
So a bunch of fucking savage Mandalorians are coming together and probably going to be. Oh my god! What if we're building towards something? What if they're building towards a Mandalorian war again? Because I was reading up on Bo-Katan, and they said there was like a Mandalorian civil war.
Mm-hmm.
But what if it gets to the point that, the Mandalorians take back their planet, thrive for a few generations, and then attack the goddamn Republic?
If I had to put money on what the finale of the Mandalorian series is going to be, I would say it's probably organizing all the Mandos under one banner and retaking their planet. Because this is hinted at for the same reason that the Empire has the Darksaber. And when Mando gets the Beskar plates as payment, they all say, like, these came from the Great Purge. So we know at some point they tried to take Mandalore back from Darth Maul. And then once the Empire rose, they came in and fucked everything up, stole the Darksaber, took all the Beskar, scattered the Mandos everywhere. So I would say at some point they're probably going to try to, reorganize everybody and take their shit back. That'd be my guess.
No, tactically, you got to think even for the Empire in its infancy, one of the biggest threats is probably a strong Mandalorian culture.
A giant population of bounty hunters that will fuck all of you up. Yes.
Yeah, that if you look at them the wrong way, there goes our death ball. Like, fuck the farm boy. These guys have blasters and they'll shoot us and shit.
I know I mentioned
so
this.
one's riding a dinosaur.
Yeah. I know I mentioned this last week, but I think after we were talking about Clone Wars, but seeing some sort of storyline with the clones adjusting to the Empire, I think would be really cool. I don't know if that can get thrown in somehow, but everyone's a clone of Jango, all the clones. So I don't know. I feel like there has to be some group of clones that desert or say that they're sick of this shit or retire or find out evidence of the inhibitor chips or something, and they just defect.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I actually, speaking of stuff,
That's the
I had
entire
an
show.
itch.
Speaking of stuff.
I had an itch to not read a canon book.
To not read a canon book?
Dumb. I don't want to read a canon book. I feel like they've low-key let me down in different ways. I don't want to say any of them were really bad. They just didn't hit me the way a lot of the Legends books did.
Okay.
With the Plagueis and the Bane books, even an old Darth Maul book that I read, Revan, all of it. They've always hit me well.
Yeah.
I did finally order the first Clone Commando book. It should be here tomorrow. I know you let me borrow yours for like 2 years.
Republic Commando, yeah.
Republic Commando, thank you. So I finally ordered it, and I plan on jumping into that.
Yeah, I still have mine.
But there's 5 of them total, right?
Yes, sir.
So there's the there's the first 3, and then there's Order 66,
And then there's 504 or Imperial Commando. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would love. You guys have just sung its praises, and I'm ready for something a little more epic. I liked
good.
Ahsoka. I liked the book, decent to solid, but it did not blow me away like Plagueis or Bane or even Revan. I was upset with the story of Revan, but just reading about Revan has that like, holy fuck, Like
Yeah.
this is happening.
Yeah.
I just never. I don't feel that with any of the new books.
I'm with you. I am. I hate to say it, but I am. I've only tried like eight or nine of all the new canon books. I've tried to get into it. Queen's Shadow was pretty good. Still kind of young adult, but it was cool because it was prequels era. I haven't read Master and Apprentice yet. Maybe that's what I'll do once I finish Dark Tower. Where's that fucking book at? There you are.
But like Dooku was a half letdown. It was like interesting, but they never went there. Like it was just like, don't do that. I'm like, why am I listening? What is happening?
Getting visions of the Sith invasion.
Oh no, evil.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. That's where I'm eager for news about High Republic, just to see what's going to happen there. Because that's like the big. These canon books fit in between everything. Like I haven't been really feeling those. So like starting with a brand new era, new characters, new storylines, everything from scratch, and it's very heavy on the publishing front, books and comics. I think that's where we're going to find some solid new shit.
No, I agree. You want to know why?
Why? Tell me why.
There's no fucking rules. There's no rules.
Right.
They can do whatever the fuck they want and make it work. If you're doing a book about Ahsoka, there's stuff already set up. And most likely there's goddamn Rebels episodes after the book. So you can't do anything with the character.
I don't know. I think that's a cop-out answer, though. Because, like, we obviously, before we went into season 7 of the Clone Wars, we obviously know Ahsoka survived because she's in Rebels. But that didn't make the finale of that show any worse, knowing that Ahsoka isn't going to die.
Yeah, you know what would have been... Well, she meets... You know Rex wasn't going to die either because she meets up with him in Rebels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways to do it. Sure, there's ways to do it correctly and make it more epic.
Yes.
And, you know, I don't know. I agree. I mean, I think that them having no ties and no rules with the High Republic is really just going to launch this shit. If they do it correctly, and I'm not saying it has to be one way or the other. I'm just saying, don't fuck it up. Like it doesn't have to be my vision of everything. You can do something else, but just don't fuck it up. Push the boundaries. You have that palette to do whatever the fuck you want. So.
Right, and they don't have to come...
I mean, they need to drop an F-bomb. They need to drop an F-bomb in the High Republic.
Fuck
and
the
that's
Sith.
The first Dark Jet. That's the first Dark Jedi. Burritos again. This Jedi lunch sucks. I fucking hate it. Hey, he seems kind of mad. His eyes are glowing. We should probably shout him
He
down.
must be really strong now.
He must be.
Fuck, what was I going to say?
Burrito boy.
Your burrito discussion distracted me. Shit, what was I going to say?
Barangas.
I think that's where it really falls is like there are no expectations and there's nothing for them to lean on. Other than like the world. The world's been built. We know it's Star Wars. We know there's Jedi. There's probably Sith. There's lightsabers. Excuse me. There's the Force. But other than that, they don't have to loop this storyline in. They don't have to finish this character off. They don't have to end Luke Skywalker's arc. You know, they don't have that baggage. That's what gives them like the real clout, I think. But I don't
Brennan
know.
said perhaps some stuff from Mando will lead to the High Republic. You're going backwards there, bub. High Republic's going to be like what was it? 800 years before? 700 years before?
600, 800,
no,
something
it's
like
not. 400, something like that. I think
7 million years.
a bunch of years before even episode 1. I think it's 400 years before episode 1. So,
Yes. Accuracy.
I mean, the only thing I could even see them leading to something is if somehow they explain Yoda species stuff way back in the High Republic stuff that would somehow tie
Well,
in.
there would
but I
be
don't
the
think
tie
it's gonna
is
tie in.
something from Yoda's species.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, which could be very interesting, but that's what they did with the Mando. There were no rules. They created a brand new character and said, the guy's epic. He's in this timeline, but you don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. Every character, Cara Dune, badass, fucking epic. No rules. There's no rules. She doesn't have to live. She doesn't have to die. We don't fucking know. Kuil. You know why we felt Kuil's death? Because we didn't fucking know.
Because he has a
We
catchphrase.
thought it was going to be... That's actually I miss
Anyone
him now.
with a catchphrase that makes you care about things. There's no catchphrases in.
What if on his dying breath he said, "I spoke.
I can't speak.
I no
anymore.
longer speak.
I'm
I no
mute.
longer speak."
Yeah, I don't know. As we're talking about this, I'm thinking, I'm like, why do I love the Republic Commando series so much? Because I know where it starts and I know where it ends. So that's obviously, that doesn't take anything away from the story. So what is it that makes it so good? And why is it that some of the new canon novels and comics haven't really done that? I don't know exactly what the answer is.
But I mean, you knew timeline what was going to happen before and after, but you didn't know what was happening to those direct characters.
Yeah,
right?
but with the same line of logic, though, then the Aftermath trilogy should have been good too. Because you know the Empire fell, and we've seen episode 7, so you know that the Resistance and the Republic are different, and then Rey Skywalker or whatever, Rey and Kylo Ren, you know about all that, and you're filling in the gaps in the middle. So like, it's the same kind of scenario, but what is it that makes Aftermath kind of meh compared to the other shit?
'Cause they put Wedge in there all over this shit, and I don't give a damn about Wedge.
It's not prequels.
Like, is that your go-to point? Let's put someone that everybody knows in it. Like, that doesn't make it great. I don't have to give a shit about Wedge.
but
First of all, why
we're
is
just
Wedge-
about to sing the praises of the Mandalorian for doing the same thing, because Boba Fett's back and Bo-Katan and all this shit, and Ahsoka.
But it's more of a tie-in. I felt like Aftermath put Wedge in there because of Wedge. This other stuff's like because it's all tying together. It makes fucking sense.
From a certain point of view.
I don't know. I just don't like Wedge, guys.
Some people
Don't.
could look at the Tamara Morrison casting as they're just chucking in Boba Fett because everyone likes Boba Fett. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't disagree, but I don't agree with it either. Like, it's
Because I mean, Wedge was a pilot for the
I do-
Rebellion, so it does make sense that he's back as a pilot for the Resistance.
I think
Or
it
whatever.
does make sense, but also can it be a cop out and also make sense? I absolutely think.
Can I just
They're
hate
like- they're
everything
dub-
and it still makes sense? Yes, that's what happens every day.
They're doubling down, bro. They're doubling down because everybody loves Boba Fett. Like, even the young Boba Fett in the Clone Wars stuff was a badass, and you saw him have that spark that like proving he was trying to prove everybody wrong,
Yeah.
and he never really saw eye to eye with a bunch like I don't know. He doesn't live his life along the lines of,
Well, they cut off his dad's head.
well, the Jedi did, but not the other Mandalorians. Like, he is a rogue Mandalorian. He doesn't even live within like an honor
Well,
or
isn't there a piece of the story that Lucas, what the hell is this? Where Lucas was saying that Jango and Boba aren't true Mandalorians? Isn't there a bit of that story somewhere? I feel like I've heard that.
I mean, I imagine that like Django was maybe defected, like he was no longer a part of them, and maybe or something like that. But
Someone like Shinobi would know.
he
more
has
than
the
me.
armor, which we know how rare the armor is. So either he is one or he killed someone.
Or he used to be one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Star Wars a lot.
Regardless, I don't know. I mean, if from a certain point of view, isn't that the cool thing about the clones is that they're clone Mandalorians?
That's what I always thought.
Whoa!
Like, who are we gonna get for the clone
Whoa!
donor? The most badass fighters in the galaxy, the Mandalorians. He's one of the best of those. So pick him.
From a certain point of view, the Clone Wars could also be called the Mandalorian Wars.
Oh shit. So who's Revan then?
I am surprised, bitch.
Cast me in the movie, damn it. Yeah.
No, isn't that from a certain point of view because they're cloned Mandos? It's the Mandalorian Wars.
Yeah. No, for sure. I feel you.
Sometimes light bulbs go off. We talk about this shit all day, every day, and then you're still like, wait a second, what about this?
Yeah. So Brendan just brought this up. Elmec in season 2 said that Jango was just a simple bounty hunter. He may not be a Mando. I thought I saw somewhere that it was like confirmed that Jango wasn't a true Mandalorian. But also after seeing the storylines in like Rebels and Clone Wars, I feel like they're so scattered that like, how do you categorize like a true Mandalorian versus another? So they're as much Mando as the next person.
Well, there's so much turmoil in the Mandalorians. I mean, Darth Maul ran the bitch for like 5 years. Like,
Yeah, all
there's
bets
no
are off
culture
after
behind,
that.
Like,
Yeah, you had a defunct Sith as your leader, so like there's no rules anymore.
no, and that's what it's. I think that's what we're gonna get to in season 2, where they're all gonna start teaming up and like there is a way, and we saw the spark of that.
This is the way.
Yes, we're getting back to that fucking night that the Mandalorians all teamed up and saved the Mando and the Yoda baby.
Yep.
Because this is the way, and that's what needed to be done.
Yep.
They were tired of hiding in the fucking sewers,
Yep.
and they're doing shit about it now.
Yep.
Oh,
Yes,
right
sir.
Here. So although I'm reading on Wikipedia, although Fett was an armor-wearing Mandalorian, the pacifist government of Mandalore saw him as nothing more than a common mercenary with no actual ties to the Mandalorians. So it's confirmed, and this is under the canon tab. Yeah, so from the Mandalorian law or view, Jango Fett was not a true Mandalorian.
I'm pulling it up here on the feed. Yeah. Remember that day, that first day back in like 2014 or something, when we went to Wikipedia and there was a canon and a legends tab, and we were like, "What the fuck? That's some crazy."
It still does
shit.
kind of irk me. I'm not gonna lie, but I get it that everything needs a reset. It'd be nice just to have like everything work, though.
It's coming together well. I mean, comic book fans will know that the stuff in the Marvel movies isn't 100% the way it is in the comics. It's close enough. I feel like they're doing the same kind of thing with Star Wars, and that's totally cool with me.
Because it even says here, sorry to wrap back around to Jango, it says, nevertheless, his reputation attracted the attention of the Sith as they plotted their return to galactic power. Yeah, so like,
yeah,
I guess from like from Dooku's point of view, he didn't really give a shit if he was seen as a Mando or not. The guy's a savage,
right.
so we're gonna clone him because he's a murdering asshole.
Well, also that whole storyline, basically, in the Clone Wars, we have the end of with the Siege of Mandalore. That old regime is gone, so who knows what Bo-Katan's going to put in place? Like they could say we need numbers, and yeah, Jango Fett, you can be a Mandalorian again as long as you, Boba Fett, as long as you follow the way. So I don't know. That was just a certain government on Mandalore that kind of saw him differently. So I feel like they could change that easily. They could wreck on that easily.
I'm reading this last paragraph here of the very beginning of his thing.
How do you not love this guy? Look at this.
And it says, in the days leading to the first battle of the Clone Wars, Fett was hired by Viceroy Newt Gunray to assassinate Amidala on Naboo. Was that in the Clone Wars cartoon?
That was the first half of the movie of Attack of the Clones, fool.
Why?
Wait, what am I?
Well, I didn't know it was Gunray. I thought it was Dooku.
No, it was Viceroy Gunray. Because he was
How did
fucking
we,
salty
how are we
that
supposed to...
the regime, or that his takeover of Naboo didn't happen. He was embarrassed, and he's like, I'm going to kill that bitch.
Why did I not know this? Because at the beginning, we see the ship blow up. And then we see Anakin and Obi-Wan chase after the changeling. And it all leads back to Jango on what the fuck?
Geonosis. And then who is in the stands at the arena that is trying to make sure Padme dies? It's Viceroy Gunray.
Yeah, but on Kamino, I mean. Like, everything ties back to, once we get to Kamino, it's Jango, Sifo Dyas.
Yeah.
Which we assume that, like, was Count Dooku. So that was my time. I thought Count Dooku was like, go kill Senator Amidala.
I don't think so. I don't think he gave a shit about
See,
that.
I guess
because if Dooku's taking his
that-
orders from Palpatine needs Padme in the mix for Anakin. So he wouldn't have done that.
I guess I never really thought of it. That's what threw me off is the name Gunray. Like, I didn't really think that it was Gunray that did that.
Shoot her or
'Cause
something.
they shoot her or something.
Yeah, he's mad.
But they don't.
He's salty.
Yeah, but they. I guess my question is, what led you to believe that? They don't say it. So just the fact that Viceroy Gunray's in the Coliseum.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's
At
not
the end?
obvious. I'd be curious to see what other people would have to say
I
about that.
100% thought it was Dooku who.
Well, Padme does say Dooku. She's, I think Dooku's behind it. He's a political idealist, not a murderer.
Because that's all the focus of the rest of the movie. Viceroy Gunray's like not a part of any of it until he gets cut in half in episode 3. Like I thought.
Well,
I
they
don't know.
are
I just didn't.
the ones that started the droid army, so they are kind of in charge of that. And then, yeah, when they get locked up on Geonosis at the arena, he's there, and he wants Padme to be killed, be executed, because he's still just embarrassed about Naboo, because he's a slimy bitch. Everyone keeps pronouncing his name wrong, and he's mad. So I don't know. I will say Attack of the Clones is not 100% clear as to what's happening.
It's such a blob.
There's a lot of
movie.
stuff.
There's a
like
lot of cool stuff.
when they started talking about Sifo Dyas, when I was a kid, I was like, what's happening? I don't understand this at all. What is going on?
For how it's funny because for how like everyone makes fun of trade routes and that sort of thing in episode 1, I still followed along.
Yeah.
Like I understood what like the barricade or the blockade was. Like we're mad at you, so we're not going to let you leave or anything. So
yeah,
get ready for battle. I got it. Like regardless of if it was a trade dispute or whatever, or if it's a Sith, like I understood it. When you start getting into pulling characters that we've never heard or seen, or going forward we'll never see, I was like, wait,
it wasn't brought up a single fucking time until like the Dooku novel again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is kind of you're unless you're, I mean, I was a kid at the time, so when it came out, I was like, am I supposed to know that Dooku is working for Sidious this whole time? Who Sidious knew about, because we didn't know about Order 66 when we first saw Episode 2,
right?
So there was like a huge piece to this clone army and who created them that I didn't connect. Like after watching episode 2 for the first time, I'm not sure I would have said, yes, Darth Sidious is behind the clone army.
There's some hints in there, but like I said, it's kind of a mess, so it's not necessarily easy to follow. So Obi-Wan arrives on Kamino. He talks to them. They say, we've been expecting you. They mention Sifo Dyas. He's like, that motherfucker's died a decade ago. When he talks to Jango, he mentions Sifo Dyas. And Jango says, no, I was recruited by Tyrannus. At that point, you don't know who that is. And at the end of the movie, after Dooku escapes and gets back to Coruscant, Sidious greets him as, welcome back, Lord Tyrannus. And then you're supposed to be like, oh shit, it was Dooku all along, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of like, it's kind of thrown in there, so it doesn't really hit you the way it's supposed to.
Those random side
conversations,
yeah. That like even in episode 1 with Maul, it'd just be like a dark alley. Time to reveal ourselves to the Jedi. You're like, wait a second, this is important. I should start listening.
This is
They're
the
in the
entire plot of
shadows.
the movie. Yeah, I can only talk about the plot when my hood is up. That's the only time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shinobi in the comment section here says, in Legends, Jango and Boba Fett are Mandalorians, and during the Vong War, Boba actually becomes Mandalore.
Nice.
In canon, they are not Mandalorians, which is woo.
Whoa.
I'm actually and Brennan in the chat made a sad face. I'm actually okay with it. I'm okay with them distancing Boba and Jango. First of all, the myth behind the two was way overshot than what they were actually. Like,
what do you mean the myth?
The idea, like the idea of Boba Fett and him being a psychopath, badass killer with just a little scene where he falls into a hole. Like, is that what we're basing it off of?
I think what probably happened, think how little content there was in 1980. What probably happened is you saw him in Empire and you're like, that armor, that fucking ship. Oh my God, he must be such a badass. And then you have 3 years of building up headcanon. And then in Jedi, yes, he falls in the pit. But there's just some lore. He kind of did
capture Han Solo, and everybody loves Han Solo, and out-thought him, like stayed on the back of the fucking ship. And
yeah. So it probably comes from that. And for me, it comes from I love Jango Fett and the clones, so the fact that Boba Fett is a clone of Jango is awesome.
Well, also the Legends comic series stuff also blows shit out of the proportion because I think Boba Fett faces Vader and like half wins.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? No. First of all, fuck
Please,
off.
please
No.
don't even try.
Is Newt Gunray behind this shit? Because he's the only.
I think what
He's behind it
could
all.
be really cool, I'm just exploring possible Boba Fett storylines here, is like, yes, based on this regime of Mandalore, they weren't considered true Mandalorians. Jango never had that honor. Boba's a clone. He was a bounty hunter. But perhaps maybe he has a distaste for the Empire, and he could come back around and follow the Mandalorian creed and maybe become a true Mandalorian in the Mandalorian season 2. Like that could be a storyline.
Even, you know what would even be crazier is if they did fight back to take over their home planet. Boba Fett was a part of it, and for some reason, somehow they do some research and start talking about like bloodlines, and they end up finding out that Jango actually was a bloodline of like an ancient Mandalore. Let's just make bloodlines important in the story somehow, and it actually Boba Fett being a clone of Jango was very important because of his blood.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool to like do something that, you know, they weren't considered Mandalorians, but yet the blood that lives in them is probably more Mando or pure Mando than the rest of them.
that'd be really cool. But isn't that the whole thing? It's like Din Djarin is just a random dude that was, his family was killed by battle droids, but he was saved by the Mandalorians. He follows the creed. He's a Mandalorian now. Like anybody could really do that if they take it seriously. So there's no reason that Boba can't like come back into the fold.
You know, most of my life I feel really dumb, but sometimes I feel extreme dumb. You know,
What's making you extreme dumb right now?
I knew that Din had issues with droids.
Yeah.
I never really thought that he has issues with droids because the CIS shot his whole fucking town up.
I think you're just blanking out on the first time we talked about that, because that was definitely something that you brought up, was the fact that he was rescued, he was being attacked by droids, his family's dead. Obviously, he hates droids.
Yeah, I don't know. It's nice to forget stuff because then you realize it again. So,
because then you seem really smart. Like, oh, I just invented this plot line.
yeah. You talked about it 2 weeks ago. Oh,
Filoni actually asked me about the droid storyline, and I gave it to him.
Yeah.
They didn't put me in the fucking writer's notes on IMDb though.
So let's. I mean, we kind of spelled it out, but what's your expectations, if any, for season 2 of Mando?
I'm trying to keep it open.
We should.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm trying to keep it open. If Boba just makes like a 1 episode cameo, I think that would be cool. If he becomes part of the larger storyline and I get to see more Tamara Morrison in Star Wars, I'm cool with that too. I think they'll do it tastefully. So I'm just excited that they're back.
Yeah, I mean they're playing some heavy cards here, especially with the wrapping up of Clone Wars and how on an Ahsoka high we are. That putting her in season 2 of Mando really fucking means a lot.
Yeah,
and she's the tide of the Jedi, whether she is one or not. That Baby Yoda, something could happen, like something fucking crazy.
Well, he has to. I don't want to say ditch, but he has to figure out something to do with Baby Yoda. They can't just go gallivanting around like collecting bounties all day. That's not going to work.
Yeah, his lifestyle doesn't work with having a baby.
Yeah, so knowing after what the armor says, knowing that Baby Yoda is force sensitive, obviously Jedi have to come into the mix. There aren't really any Jedi left, so Ahsoka makes sense. I don't know if they would ever make some young Luke Skywalker. I doubt it. So Ahsoka is probably the safest bet for that. You know what I mean? Like you can't picture like a 26-year-old Luke Skywalker coming into the Mandalorian. I don't think that would fit. Maybe. What I was going to say earlier is like they can definitely hide spoilers. Like if you think about all those kid actors that were with Baby Yoda in that 1 episode, it's like obviously they know how to keep the secret of Baby Yoda until the show airs. So why are they releasing all of these casting choices now? There must be some other bigger reveal or bigger secret in season 2 that we don't have any idea of. That's going to be another big surprise. So,
with your
just a thought.
With your wise Sean Hunter hair,
The hair makes you
the
smarter.
wisdom spewing out.
See, look at the length of my smartness.
Smartness
isn't a word.
Smartness. My smartfuls. No, the idea of let's pass Baby Yoda off to Ahsoka, who's no longer a Jedi, but she left the old Jedi ways. There is a new Jedi way out there, and it is with Luke Skywalker. And maybe, not that he has to come on scene, not that they even have to get in depth with discussing it,
Just a mention.
but maybe Ahsoka takes Baby Yoda and says, "I have a plan. There is a new Jedi way, and I'm gonna take him there."
Oh.
Now that leaves the fucking door wide open to what the fuck happens between there and Episode 7, with Baby Yoda. Wouldn't it be fucking crazy if they killed Baby Yoda off?
That'd be insane. I just
That
got
would
an
be
idea.
Truly insane. You got an idea? Your hair is growing longer.
Well, I was going to say, I'll pop this up on the screen here. I was going to say, what if Ahsoka just outlives this entire conflict? So I was looking up the average lifespan of a Togruta. It says average lifespan of 82 years, but those who were keenly attuned to the Force could live up to 200. So I'm just thinking, like, what if Ahsoka sees all this stuff that's happening, is in the background for, obviously not in the background for Order 66. That's not what I was going to say. In the background for the Empire, the Rebellion, the Resistance, all this stuff. And she's just
not,
waiting for the right time to pop up. I'm just saying, like, what if she outlives the entire 9 movies and she helps Rey restart the Jedi Order? Like, there could be something crazy where after Rise of Skywalker, she comes back into the mix.
So it's Baby Yoda,
Just a
Rey, and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Because I didn't. She doesn't like outlive. I mean, I get your point. I'm just saying it's not like she's steadily just sat by, because she's in Rebels, she's in Clone Wars, she's in she's in all of it.
Right. No, I would just mean what you were about to say is, like, she knows the Jedi way and also knows what was wrong. So she's kind of waiting for the right opportunity to bring everything back.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, what would be pretty cool is if they did go forward and Rey, like, let's just long short of it. What if Ahsoka created a Jedi holocron and was like, "This is what fucking happened. This is what I did. This is what the Sith did. Make your own choice, but this is why they fucked up, and that's why I left." And I was able to at least live beyond their failures, but maybe you can fix yourself based on the past failures of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, no, I think the door's fucking wide open. I have a feeling they won't go that deep because it's just called The Mandalorian. Now, if they did want to spawn a second series or maybe even like an Ahsoka season,
Something
like if they did like a Lost Jedi series and it was about Ahsoka, I'm balls deep already. Sign me up. I'll direct it. I'll write it too. It's my idea.
That's what I mean. Like, if they test her out, a cameo in Mandalorian season 2 live action, and it goes well, like, yeah, the door's wide open. And I didn't think none of that would happen during the Mandalorian. I just mean if she's teased there, like we see, she ends in the Clone Wars, and we see cameos of her in Rebels and now in Mandalorian, and then she can pop up with a comic series or a novel or something like post Episode 9. Just dreaming. Who knows?
Yeah. So, any insights or thoughts about something that's right around the fucking corner that no one's been discussing? We're getting all these bombs dropped about season 2 of Mando. What about Cassian? Isn't that coming out this year?
Yeah, good point. Let me see.
Maybe they're pulling our. Also, kind of random note. They are expected to release Mando season 2 on time. Like the COVID stuff has not delayed anything, and they are still. I think it was October.
I think
they're still.
Yeah, October and November. I think they probably just said like fall 2020.
But
Cassian
I did see that
begins
today.
filming this year, so chances are it probably won't be out until next like February or March.
Oh, that sucks. I 100% thought it was coming out at the end of this year. Interesting.
What about the Kenobi one?
What about Kenobi? Canceled.
No, that
It's got
hasn't
14
begun
directors.
filming yet either. I don't know. 17 directors, 13 different names.
Isn't that a weird
14
feeling
scripts.
that it's a weird feeling. Like, I'm excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm fucking excited about season 2 of Mando. But the fact that that's like number 1 on my docket, it does make me feel a little weird. That we're theorizing about a potential movie that's happening 3 years from now. And like outside of that, there's really nothing. It's just a weird time that we were on such a high with all the stuff that was coming out, all the movies, one after another, all the standalones, and now we're kind of just left adrift. And it's like they're banking on Mando keeping our attention for like years, and it's not enough for me. And I assume if you guys are listening to this, it's probably not enough for you, especially with the lack of games. You know, I want stories. I want Star Wars stories, and you know, the games haven't really provided that. The books have been okay to good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kind of all. I want more. I want more, guys. You gave us so much in the past 5 years.
It comes in waves. I mean, like, there's no way they can do a movie, a series, a game, and all the books and comics every single year. So I think it comes in waves.
No, I get it, but it was just such a crazy nerd high in retrospect because we had all of the Marvel stuff. You know, DC was still trying to do its thing.
2019 was a crazy year.
Star Wars was on its high. We had Game of Thrones. We had
Finale,
much,
yeah.
like, peak and end within the past, even like 3 years.
And now we
has
just
been
have
ridiculous.
fucking quarantine.
We have
Quarantine.
Suicide Squad 2. We have Suicide Squad 2. Is that what we're hyping about?
That's next year.
Oh, we have to wait for dog shit. It's delayed dog shit, guys. We're here for it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I'm excited.
I'm curious.
I kinda.
I'm curious. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I'm expectational.
Horny.
Sweaty. We'll see.
Sweaty. Knees weak. Mom spaghetti. I'm nervous.
I'm spaghetti for Star Wars.
Wrapping this show up. One Punch Man. Go fucking watch it, including you. I think if you could watch one episode tonight, it would be worth your time.
I will give it a consideration.
Yeah, it's easy. It's also very short. You can watch an episode in like 25 minutes. It's nothing that you really have to dive.
That's what I'm
balls
looking
deep
for.
hour
In the show.
into.
If I'm gonna get back.
It is,
into
and
the
it's
show.
really easy to watch. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on season 2 of Mando.
Yes.
Also, I do still want to hear what you guys put on to fall asleep to. I think we're gonna get some good feedback.
Please send it,
and we'll ask the patrons too.
Yep. Yeah. Rogue Squadron Podcast at gmail.com if you want to email us, or you can DM us on Instagram or Twitter and just let us know.
Yeah. And I do want to. It's sometimes people yell at us on YouTube. That is like the worst spot because we, first of all, don't. It's not even like a media like to talk back and forth. So just DM us on other social media, Facebook, Instagram, and or just shoot us a Gmail, electronic.
Send us a mailgram.
Smoke signals, please.
It's good to be back. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Yeah.